Hello, everybody. It's July the 5th. That makes it a Sunday. And I just finished doing a clinic last weekend in Karamis with Darla Flack. And took me a little bit to get my body back in shape again. And but here I am. I'm sorry I haven't been posting recently. I was a little tired. Um, so I want to bring you up to date on what happened because I think it's pretty important to understand that there are people like me around. My first lesson started at 8:30 on a Friday morning with a barrel racer, and she has a very, very wonderful buckskin mare that she bought in Texas, and lovely lady, and she's really serious about what she's doing. And I made a lot of suggestions and recommendations, and I'm going to be working with her again in 2 weeks' time. And uh, we had a lot of really good conversations, and I'm hoping to be able, once I figure out my technology, technology, that's another story. Anyway, I'm hoping to put it up on YouTube and learn how to shorten some of the sequences up so we can get it on my journey through Words of an Old Horsewoman on Facebook. And yes, Cheeky did go with us, and she was a superstar, and everybody loves Cheeky. So anyway, and then my next ride was a pair of gaited horses, and the one gaited horse is a little conflicted. Cheeky, you quit chewing on that chair. Hey. Anyway, I'm gonna go get my parrot control device. I'll be right back. Anyway, I worked on that with that horse's issues, which are pretty deep. She's a very lovely Tennessee walking horse, and she's been through who knows what. She's an older mare, not well-aged, but an older mare that has obviously got some history, and we need, you stop chewing on the chair. Thank you. But the other horse is a 20-year-old. He's not a walking horse, a Tennessee walking horse. He's something else. I'm not quite sure. But he moves kind of sort of like a walking horse. And his owner is, she's about 100 pounds, overdressed on a cold day, soaking wet. And she's got a little age on her too, and she doesn't do well. I don't think she could ride a walk trot horse. So these smooth gaited horses are perfect for these people. And she trail rides. So we had a lot of fun with that horse. And hopefully I can post some of those videos up too. Very important to be able to understand, as a dressage hunter jumper, a type of background, how gaited horses actually work, and to be able to respect how and why people ride them, and to be able to work with them in a meaningful way without trying to make these gaited horses trot and put them completely off their gait, and also understand the saddling and the farrier issues with them. So we did that, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself with that, and I'm so grateful that in my developing years that I worked with Tennessee walking horses and all kinds of other gaited horses, because it certainly broadened my horizons and my understanding about motion and structure function, form to function, and all of that kind of stuff. And I got badly chastised by well-meaning people in the, especially in the jumper world. They thought I was horrible that I would own a Tennessee walking horse. I said, you know, if you're that upset about it, you're welcome to come to my barn and ride my walking horse. I love it. I just love it if you could do that. And a couple of people did. But the ones that were most upset with me, they didn't have the courage. Anyway, that's another story. So then I had my wonderful Luna Poole, who I worked with on Vancouver Island, and John Stelfox, and we worked with those horses. And that's much more of a dressage thing. And so we had a very meaningful time with those horses. Then we had a lunch break, and it was very hot that day. I thought it was going to melt. But you have to put that aside and give people your full undivided attention. So anyway, after lunch, I went back down to the arena, and I have two of the cutest young ladies, 14-year-olds, on very, very nice pleasure horses, walk trot pleasure horses. They're in shorts. I don't know what the temperature was, but it was pretty warm. And they were in shorts and cowboy boots and tank tops and hard hats. And the horses were wearing halters that had the lead shank tied around, so they had a rein on each side. And I'm pretty sure that they were thinking that I was going to blow them off, but I didn't. I said, you know what, kids, I've ridden my fair share of bareback, and I've ridden my share in the deep weeds, and if that's what you guys want to do, hey, I'm all over it. Let's make your journey safer and more enjoyable, and off we went. And so that clinic was really a lot of fun, because we didn't have I didn't have a tyrant hanging over my shoulder saying, you're 5 minutes overboard and you need to get this rider out and get that one in. I didn't have that. I mean, Darla kind of watched me like a mother goose with one gosling, but it was done in a very caring, sympathetic way, and there was always a fresh cup of coffee or a sandwich or whatever I needed. And the two gals, Luna and Danielle, that went with me as assistants, were videotaping and helping people get their horses ready, and it was just wonderful. But like I say, having the background, when I had my barn for 15 years in Alberta, when I came home from England, you know, when you train in some place like a high-end a school with a top-seated fellow of the British Horse Society, you think you really learn something, and you kind of want to slot everybody into that line of thinking. But in those days, I had about 10 horses in training, 12 months of the year. I had my own horses that I was competing with. I had lessons and 100 students a week, and I also had about, at max, 5 working students that were from anywhere in the world. And we were busy, and one day I had, it could have been a standard bred, or I didn't have an Andalusian. I had a Peruvian Paso and a Paso Fino, a standard bred, and a bunch of stuff like that come through the front door. I thought I was a dressage jumper trainer, and Bill DeBar was working with me, and the first time one of those different breeds walked into my barn, I phoned him and I said, Bill, what am I going to do with this horse? He says, you're going to figure out how to work with it and do a good job. So I did. And that was the kind of attitude that I've dealt with in the whole, since 1970, when I became a professional. That's been my mandate, is to work with whatever kind of horse and whatever kind of person came through my barn door. And so teaching a clinic like that, really, it really was a lot of fun, because you don't get bored. I mean, we need to work with this barrel racer, and in order to get her winning her class, we need to shave 1 second plus 1/100th of a second off her time. If we can do that, and I know we can do that just through education. And with the kids, with the shorts and the cowboy boots, next day they came with saddles and bridles, and we did a lot of learning about posting trot, posting diagonals, that sort of thing. And then the third day they came in with saddles, but they came in with the halters on again. And so we talked about how to set up a Makati rein and what and how that works, and a level of safety that it puts in. The 20-year-old gaited horse was amazing. The changes in it. He wasn't trying to trot or pace anymore. He was trying to get in his gait, and the gal that owns him and rides him and just absolutely adores him, she was learning to get out of his way and to quit using her legs on him, and yeah, that all just went better. So, if you are thinking about being a professional horse person, if you want to be in a specific sport and you have a public barn and somebody walks in with something different, don't be afraid to expand your horizons, because those different horses will teach you more about your own discipline and turn you into a much better rider and a much more sympathetic coach, and it'll give you a whole different perspective on people when you're at a jumper show and somebody comes up to you and says, I understand you work with gaited horses. Shame on you. Aren't you? I can't bear those things. And it's like, when you have that narrow band of expectation of what the whole world is going to do with their horse, it's a shame, because it's a big, beautiful world out there. And I'm feeling better. I'm going to try and get back and do more of this. I'm getting it figured out. And you have a great Sunday and a terrific week, and stay real safe. I love you all. Bye.